Before we begin, let your body grow comfortable. Let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw unclench. Let your hands rest in whatever shape they choose. Imagine the day has ended kindly, even if it was busy. Imagine you've arrived at the quiet edge of night, where nothing is required of you now. In this story, we'll walk through a world that feels old and gentle. A world where the mountains seem to remember names, where the sea speaks in a steady hush, and the stars feel like small lanterns hung in the dark, not to wake you, but to guide you toward rest. Tonight, we'll follow Persephone and the returning spring, not as a tale of fear or struggle, but as a soft meditation on change, on belonging, on the comfort of cycles that return again and again, like breath, like tides, like the seasons turning quietly in their sleep. And as you listen, you don't have to hold the whole story. You can let it drift past you like a slow river. If you forget a detail, that's perfect. If you slip toward sleep, that's perfect too. Let's begin. In the mythic world of Greece, the land is never just land. A hillside is a thought held in stone. A grove is a secret breathed by leaves. A river is a moving ribbon of memory. And when winter has been long, not harsh, not cruel, just quiet, the world begins to lean toward change. At first, it is almost nothing, a faint loosening in the air, a little less bite in the morning breeze, a softness around the edges of sunlight. In the fields, the soil still looks dark and resting, like a blanket drawn up to the chin. The trees stand patient, their branches still, as if they are listening for a distant song. Somewhere, deep beneath the surface, seeds wait. Not in a rush, not anxious. They wait the way the heart waits for something it trusts will come. In villages scattered between hills and shorelines, people begin to notice the smallest signs. A bird returning to an old place, a thin thread of green near a stone wall, a scent on the wind that isn't quite cold anymore. And because this is a world shaped by story, people do not simply say, "Oh, spring is coming." They say, "Persephone is on her way." They speak her name in the same tone you might use for a beloved visitor, someone who returns each year and makes everything feel lighter. Persephone, whose very presence is like a door opening to warmth and color. Persephone, who belongs to two places, and in belonging to both teaches the world how to change without breaking. Persephone's story begins, as many stories do, with a garden. Not a small garden in a clay pot, not a narrow strip behind a house, but a wide, living place, full of wildflowers, soft grasses, and the kind of light that makes everything glow as if the day is smiling. In this garden, Persephone once walked with her mother, Demeter. Demeter was the goddess of the harvest, the keeper of grain and growing things. Not an abstract idea of growth, but the real, steady kind. The kind that becomes bread, the kind that becomes porridge, the kind that fills a home with warm, ordinary comfort. Demeter loved the earth the way a devoted gardener loves it, with attention, with patience, with quiet pride in each small sprout. And she loved Persephone too, not as a possession, but as a bright and beloved presence. Persephone, in her youth, was like the first day of spring itself, curious, gentle, drawn to small wonders. She would pause to watch bees move through blossoms. She would trace her fingers along petals as if learning the language of flowers. She would listen to the way leaves whispered to one another and feel in her chest a tenderness she could not quite name. But Persephone's life held a secret, not a secret of danger, but a secret of destiny. She belonged, in some mysterious way, to more than the bright world above. There was another realm, not a place of terror, but a place of stillness and depth, like the quiet beneath the surface of a lake. A realm that held silence the way the night holds silence. A realm that held endings the way autumn holds endings, softly, naturally, without malice. In the language of myth, this realm is often called the underworld. But for our gentle telling, imagine it instead as the lower realm, a resting place, a deep chamber of the world, a place where things become quiet so they can become something new later on. And every year, the world asks Persephone to travel between these two realms, not as punishment, not as harm, but as a sacred rhythm, like the moon's phases, like the sea's tide, like the inhale and exhale of the seasons. In the bright months, Persephone walks above and the world blossoms around her. In the darker months, Persephone goes below and the world rests, gathering itself in. This is her mystery. She is the bridge, the gentle hinge of the year. When the time comes for Persephone to go, it does not happen with shouting or force. It happens the way dusk happens, the way light quietly changes color and the day turns toward night. Persephone feels it first as a subtle pulling inward, a call like a low note of music, felt more than heard. She stands in the garden and notices that even the air has begun to slow. The leaves no longer shimmer with the same eagerness. The sun lingers lower in the sky. Demeter notices too. A mother's heart often knows before words arrive. And though Demeter does not want separation, she understands something ancient. Love does not always mean holding tightly. Sometimes love means blessing the cycle and trusting return. Still, knowing does not remove feeling. Demeter's devotion is deep and human in its tenderness, even though she is a goddess. When Persephone prepares to go, Demeter walks with her along lantern-lit pathways of the mind, paths made of memory and ritual. They do small things together, slowly. They gather the last of the herbs. They touch the bark of a favorite tree. They sit beside a field and let their silence be gentle, not heavy. Demeter teaches Persephone the comfort of details. She says, in the language of mothers everywhere, "Remember the smell of warm grain. Remember the way bread steams when it is torn. Remember that every ending is held inside a larger circle." And Persephone listens. She holds these small comforts like smooth stones in her pocket. Then, with a final look at the world above, a look full of gratitude, not fear, Persephone steps into the quiet doorway between realms. And the world, sensing her descent, begins to rest.
When Persephone is below, Demeter remains above. And Demeter feels the world differently then, as if an important lamp has been turned down low. She does not rage, not in this telling. She does not break the world in grief. Instead, she becomes quieter. Because what is winter really, if not the earth taking a long breath out, if not the fields lying down like tired children finally asleep? Demeter walks through the land with her hands folded around warmth. She becomes the guardian of rest, the protector of patience. In villages, people understand. They do not blame the season. They do not demand green leaves in January. They gather indoors. They mend nets and patch cloaks. They stir soup slowly. They tell stories by firelight. And every so often, they make gentle offerings, not out of fear, but out of gratitude. A little bowl of grain, a small loaf set aside, a cup of warmed milk sweetened with honey. They place these offerings near a hearth or at the edge of a field and whisper, "Demeter, keeper of the harvest, thank you for all you have given. Help us wait with grace." Demeter receives these offerings not as a queen demanding tribute, but as a mother receiving a child's drawing, with tenderness. She watches over storehouses, over drying herbs, over the last apples in baskets. She makes sure the world does not starve, not just in body, but in spirit. Because Demeter understands something that you may already know. Waiting is easier when it is shared. And so Demeter sends small comforts into human lives. A dream of warm sunlight on the face, a memory of a spring meadow, a sudden moment of laughter by the fire. These are her quiet gifts, her winter blessings. Demeter also tends the fields, even when they look empty. She walks the furrows and presses her palm to the soil. She listens. The ground answers in silence, but it is not a dead silence. It is the silence of seeds sleeping, the silence of roots holding steady, the silence of a world gathering strength. Demeter hums softly, a low song that sounds like wind through dry stalks, a lullaby for the earth. And somewhere far below, Persephone hears it, not as a clear melody, but as a feeling of being loved, a reminder that above, someone waits with devotion. Now, let us drift gently to the place Persephone goes when the world above rests. Imagine a downward path that is not frightening, just calm, like walking into a cool, quiet room after being outside all day. The air is still, the sound is muffled, the light is soft and indirect, like moonlight filtered through mist. There are lanterns here, not harsh torches, but warm lamps that glow steadily, as if they were made for tired eyes. In the lower realm, time moves differently, not faster, not slower, just differently. It feels like the pause between heartbeats. It feels like the moment after you exhale when your body is empty and peaceful. Persephone walks through quiet halls where the walls look like smooth stone and the floors feel cool beneath her feet. She is not alone. There are gentle attendants of the realm, spirits of stillness, caretakers of quiet, who greet her not with demands, but with respectful calm. They offer her a shawl of soft fabric. They offer her a seat near a warm brazier that hums like a sleepy cat. And in the center of this realm is a figure who is often misunderstood in loud tellings, the ruler of the lower realm. In this sleep story, we will not make him a villain. We will not make him a threat. We will call him the Keeper of Depth, a guardian of endings and beginnings, a steward of rest. He is quiet, like winter, not cruel, just steady, just inevitable, in the way that night is inevitable. When Persephone arrives, the Keeper of Depth does not seize her. He welcomes her as one welcomes the season. He says, in a voice like distant thunder heard from far away, not startling, just low, "Welcome, Persephone. The world turns, and you have come." Persephone, who has learned the rhythm, inclines her head. She feels the weight of her role, yes, but also the meaning. She understands she is not divided, she is expanded. In the bright months, she is bloom. In the dark months, she is root. And roots are not lesser than flowers. Roots are the hidden work that makes return possible. Persephone's time below is not empty. It is rich in quiet ways. She walks through gardens that do not look like gardens above. Here, plants grow slowly, with pale leaves and silver stems. There are mosses that glow faintly. There are blossoms that open at night and close at dawn, even in this dim place.
Persephone tends these gardens. She waters them with patient hands. She listens to the soft drip of springs. And as she tends them, she thinks. She reflects on the world above, on the people lighting fires, on Demeter's steady care, on the fields sleeping beneath frost. Sometimes Persephone sits beside an underground river, a dark ribbon of water moving without hurry. She watches the surface, where faint reflections drift like dreams. She thinks about change, how it is always happening, even when we cannot see it. A seed changes in the dark. A heart changes in silence. A season changes while we sleep. And Persephone, sitting there, feels a gentle gratitude. She is part of the great turning. She helps the world rest, so it can rise again. In some tellings, there is a detail about Persephone tasting pomegranate seeds. In this gentle version, the pomegranate is not a trap or a threat. It is a symbol. The Keeper of Depth offers Persephone a small bowl of pomegranate arils, red like tiny rubies, shining softly in lantern light. He says, "This is the fruit of remembrance." It reminds us that we belong to what we have touched. Persephone takes a few seeds, not because she is forced, but because she chooses to honor her connection to both realms. She lets the sweetness rest on her tongue and feels the truth of it. To belong somewhere is to be shaped by it. And Persephone belongs to the bright world of growing and to the deep world of resting. She is not trapped. She is entrusted. And as the months pass, her heart begins to feel the faint turning again, that subtle calling upward, that gentle lift, that soft loosening in the air even down here. It begins as a thought, soon, then as a feeling, almost, then as a certainty. It is time.
Above, on the earth, Demeter feels it first. One morning, she steps outside and the wind does not bite. It brushes her cheek like a familiar hand. She looks at the horizon and notices the light is different, more gold than silver. And she knows. Demeter begins the rituals of welcome. Not hurried rituals, but the slow, loving kind that make the heart feel safe. In temples and homes, people join her. They sweep thresholds, they wash cups, they hang simple garlands of dried herbs. They do not shout. They do not demand spring arrive instantly. They prepare for it the way you might prepare for a dear friend coming home after a long journey. In the fields, farmers walk the edges and press their boots into softening mud. They check their tools, quietly. They mend the broken handle. They sharpen a blade. They make ready. Children look for the first flowers. Not grand bouquets, just a tiny violet near a stone. A crocus pushing up through thin grass. And when one is found, it is treated like a small miracle. Then, in a place between places, a doorway made of mist and hush, Persephone begins to rise. Her steps are unhurried, her breath is calm. As she climbs, the air warms by degrees. The scent of earth becomes richer. The sound of water becomes brighter. It is like moving from a quiet room toward a sunlit window. When Persephone finally reaches the surface, it is not with fanfare. It is with softness. She emerges at twilight, perhaps, when the sky is pale and gentle, when even birdsong seems careful not to be too loud. Demeter is there, waiting. And in that moment, the world seems to exhale. Demeter does not speak first. she simply reaches out and cups Persephone's face with her hands, as if to confirm, "You are here. You are real. You have returned." Persephone smiles, a small smile, warm as the first sun on stone. And then, slowly, mother and daughter embrace. Around them, the land responds. Not instantly. Spring is not a snap of fingers. It is a gradual unfolding, a patient blooming. But you can feel the shift. A breeze moves through branches, and the branches seem less stiff. A bird calls, and another answers. A patch of green looks suddenly possible. Demeter leads Persephone along familiar paths. Lanterns glow on either side, even though it is not fully dark, as if the world wants to keep welcoming her with light. They walk past the first shoots of grain. Demeter kneels and touches a sprout with reverence. Persephone kneels beside her and laughs softly, as if greeting an old friend. They go to the village. People gather, not in a crowding rush, but in a respectful circle. There is warm bread. There are bowls of olives. There are cups of sweet water scented with mint. Someone plays a quiet melody on a lyre, slow and simple, a tune that feels like rocking. Persephone listens, and the music seems to settle into her bones. She looks at the faces around her, the tired ones, the hopeful ones, the ones who have waited well, and she feels something tender. Her role is not distant or abstract. It touches real lives. Her return is the return of color to kitchens and fields, to dreams and plans. Demeter and Persephone walk to the fields at dawn. Mist lies low, like a veil of sleep. The sun rises slowly, patiently, as if it too is tired and kind. Persephone steps into the furrows and lets her fingers trail through soil. She does not command the earth. She greets it, and the earth answers in the language it knows. Tiny green tips unfurling leaves, buds preparing their hidden colors. Days pass. The world warms. The trees blush with blossoms. The fields soften into gentle green waves. And each day, Persephone moves through it all like a blessing that walks. She visits orchards. She visits streams. She visits gardens where old women plant herbs and young children chase butterflies with careful hands. Persephone does not hurry them. She watches with fondness. She remembers the lower realm's stillness and appreciates the bright realm's movement, because she has learned to love both. As spring deepens, Demeter and Persephone sit together often. Sometimes on a hillside where you can see fields stretching like woven cloth. Sometimes beside a quiet river where the water speaks without words. They talk about small things. They talk about the taste of new greens. They talk about the scent of rain on warm stone. They talk about how the world feels when it wakes. And sometimes they talk about the coming turn, not with dread, not with panic, just with honesty. Demeter says softly, "I will miss you." Persephone says softly, "And I will return." And those two sentences, so simple, hold the whole philosophy of comfort. To miss is to love. To return is to trust. Persephone has become a teacher, not through lectures, but through being. She teaches that there can be separation without abandonment, that there can be endings without catastrophe, that there can be darkness without danger. Winter is not a punishment, it is rest. Spring is not a conquest, it is return. And you, listening now, may feel the truth of that in your own body.
the way your breath cycles without you forcing it, in and out. A quiet rhythm that carries you through the night. As the bright months unfold, the world becomes full. Markets fill with herbs and early fruit. Children carry flowers in their hands. People open shutters to let light in. But even at the height of bloom, Persephone keeps a gentle part of herself rooted in stillness. She does not fear the lower realm. She respects it. She knows that the quiet place below holds what the world needs when it must pause. And because she knows that, she can fully enjoy what is here. She can savor the sweetness of peaches. She can laugh at bees bumbling through blossoms. She can sit in tall grass and let the sun warm her shoulders without worrying that warmth will vanish forever. Because she understands, nothing is lost. It only changes form. It returns in its time.
Now, as our story begins to settle, let the images grow softer. Imagine Persephone and Demeter walking one last time down a lantern-lit path at dusk. The lanterns glow like fireflies held in glass. The air smells of grass and warm earth. Somewhere, a night bird calls, and the sound is gentle, not sharp. Persephone pauses to touch a stalk of grain. Demeter pauses to tuck a loose curl behind Persephone's ear. And they stand together, not clinging, not rushing, just being. Persephone whispers a promise that feels like a blanket. I will come back. Demeter whispers a blessing that feels like a hearth. I will wait with love. And the world, hearing them, settles into its own quiet trust. Because the seasons are not enemies. They are companions. They take turns. They share the year like sisters sharing a long, gentle song. If you have been carrying anything heavy today, let this myth hold it for a while. Let the cycle remind you, rest is part of living. Pausing is part of growing. Sleep is part of returning. Imagine the fields now, soft and wide under starlight. Imagine the sea, breathing in steady waves. Imagine the mountains, still and patient in the dark. And somewhere, in the deep places of the world, the quiet places, the resting places, Persephone's lantern glows warmly, a reminder that even in stillness, there is meaning. And somewhere above, Demeter's hearth glows too, a reminder that love remains present through every season. Now let your breathing slow, in and out. Let your thoughts drift like petals on water. You don't need to solve anything tonight. You don't need to hold anything tightly. The world knows how to turn. Your body knows how to rest. Good night. May you sleep as gently as spring rain. May you rest as deeply as quiet soil. And may you wake in your own time to your own returning light. Good night.